Welcome back to Shepherd's Table. I am here with Pastor Roland, and we are going to be discussing what people should expect when they go into ministry. So what was your experience with that? And do you feel you were adequately prepared for ministry? And I say that laughing, I know.
Yes. Yeah, no, as we all know, as is the case in every job, who's adequately prepared, right? No one's adequately prepared. It's the same joke I make about premarital counseling. It's like these 5 sessions are not going to prepare you for marital life or whatever, but the same fact with any job. But I think the thing that's very interesting is, and one of the things that concerns me that I really noted is seminary was really great at preparing my mind. I knew the doctrines, I knew the history, I knew the philosophy, I knew the theology. All of that was there, and I felt very confident about that, the biblical studies. But they really didn't develop the devotional life.
No.
And if there's one thing I've learned in ministry, it's if you do not carve out the time to spend with God on a personal level, you won't make it. You will not make it. And so if there's one thing I would really want to hammer into someone considering ministry or newly entering in ministry, or maybe they're in seminary, is get your devotional life in order. That will be the most, I don't even care if you struggle with the classes. I don't care if you can't read the Greek or the Hebrew. I don't care if you're not the best preacher in the world. Get your devotional life in order, or you're not gonna make it.
I think that case can be made for pretty much anyone, though, in the Christian walk.
That's probably true.
I think the ministry itself, though, it's an extra armor that you need. And I say armor intentionally. So besides the word, how else do you feel that seminaries should be preparing new pastors?
I think the other thing that's really important, aside from sort of cultivating the interior life, for no better word, I think it's very important that pastors are taught, for no better words, conflict management and congregational management. Because whether we like to admit it or not, congregations have power brokers, and they have little segments and cliques in the group, and sometimes they fight each other, and sometimes they work together. And I would have never imagined the amount of times that I just spend putting out fires or stamping out embers before they become fires.
Yep.
And that is something I had no conception of at all prior to being specifically called into the lead pastor position. I miss being an associate, because anything that was hard, I would just pass up the food chain. But now I'm on the top of the food chain, and everyone passes the hard things to me. And that's not so fun. But I think that is definitely something that is not discussed, is not really prepared for. Just the amount of, for no better word, bureaucratic HR nightmare stuff that you're going to have to deal with in a church, whether you want to or not.
Yeah. So with that, do you see certain things? So let's say there's someone who's in a church, or even someone who's in a congregation who needs to understand what pastors go through. What advice do you give?
I think the other thing that's very important, and what I've observed, is pastors are constantly expected to pour out grace on the congregants, but then when the pastor needs grace, hard to come by.
Yep.
And so I think, and now that's not a universal thing. There's some wonderful people I know, even in my own experience, who have been very gracious and forgiving to me when I needed forgiveness. And I would just encourage people, like, be gracious to your pastor. And please, if you're upset about something, come and talk, and don't just disappear.
Yeah.
Don't just disappear. Don't ghost your pastor, because that hurts. Because your pastor actually, believe it or not, cares about you.
I just had this conversation recently, and it was like, when you're in ministry and you do life with these people and you see them as family, and then they just disappear. It hurts. And I don't think people realize that.
No, I don't think people do. And the sad part is, I've watched a lot of pastors become emotionally numb, or their hearts have grown hard, which we're actually warned about in the Bible. Don't let your hearts grow cold. Don't become embittered. But quite frankly, this is an easy position to become embittered in.
It is.
Because there's a lot of people that come in and try and take advantage of you and your time. They'll take all of your resources and then say, sayonara, thank you, thanks for the memories. Or they will come in under false auspices and actually start to try and make a case against you for whatever reason. And then there's also some really wonderful people who pray for you and support you and encourage you. But I think I would highlight to people, especially in the congregation, like, guard your pastor.
Yep.
Take care of them.
Yep.
Because they're not always the best at taking care of themselves.
I would highly agree with that. So with that, I think we'll wrap up this session. Thank you so much for the wonderful conversation and advice, and hope you join us next time on Shepherd's Table.